morning. I am Anushka Sharma from Vayu House. A young girl at the age of 18 gets married, sacrificing her goals, her dreams to prove her obedience to her parents. It was not a successful marriage, but she never complained. 2 years into the marriage, and she meets an accident that leaves her half paralyzed. Life of most of the people at that stage, but not for her. She became a painter, she became a social worker, she became a TV anchor person. She is the Iron Lady of Pakistan, Muniba Mazari. I quote, I believe in the power of words. Words can make you, break you, they can heal your soul, they can damage you forever. So, I always try to use positive words in my life wherever I go. They call it adversity, I call it opportunity. They call it weakness, I call it strength. They call me disabled, I call myself differently able. They see my disability, I see my ability. There are some incidents that have happened in your life, and those incidents are so strong that they change your DNA. They deform your body, but they transform your soul. Those incidents break you, deform you, but they mold you into the best version of you. And the same thing happened to me. It is okay to be scared. It is okay to cry. Everything is okay, but giving up is not to be an option. It should not be an option. They always say that failure is not an option. Rather, failure should be an option. Because when you fail, you get up. And then you fail and then you get up. And that keeps you going. That's how humans are strong. A failure should be an option, but giving up, not. Never. We have these things in our mind. We call it perfection. We want everything perfect. We want ourselves to be perfect. There's this image in our head about everything. Perfect life, perfect relationships, perfect career, perfect amount of money that we need to earn no matter what. Nothing is perfect in this world. We all are perfectly imperfect, and that's perfectly alright. That's alright.
Hello everyone, today I, Reza Hussain, will be giving a speech by author J.K. Rowling which was delivered at Harvard University in 2008. This speech teaches us the benefits of failures. So now I will begin. Half of my lifetime ago, I was striking an uneasy balance between the ambition I had for myself and what my close ones expected of me. My parents, who came from impoverished backgrounds, took the view that my overactive imagination about writing would never pay any mortgage or secure any pension. Thus, a compromise was reached that in retrospect satisfied nobody, and so I went to study modern languages. In spite of a distinct lack of motivation at university, I had a lack for passing examinations. But I always took it as a measure of success in my life. Talent and motivation never inoculated anyone against the caprice of the fates. You might be driven by a fear of failure quite as much as a desire for success. 7 years after my graduation day, I had failed on an epic scale. I was the biggest failure I knew. From then on, I understood my mistakes, and soon enough, the rock bottom on which I stood, yes, that rock bottom on which I stood, became the foundation in which I rebuilt my life. It is impossible to live without failing unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you fail by default. As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters. Thank you.
Sisters and brothers of America, it fills my heart with joy unspeakable to rush and response to the warm and cordial welcome which you have given us. I thank you in the name of most ancient order of the monks in the world. I thank you in the name of Mother of Religions, and I thank you in the name of millions and millions of Hindu people of all classes and sects. My thanks also to some of my speakers on this platform, who referring from the delegates of Orients have told you that these men, far off nation, may well claim the honor of bearing two different lands, the idea of toleration. I am proud to belong to a religion which has taught even about toleration and universal acceptance. We not only believe in universal toleration, but we accept all religions as true. I am proud to belong to a nation which has sheltered the persecuted and refugees of all religions and all nations of the earth. I quote to you, brethren, a few lines from him, which remember to be have repeated from my earliest boyhood, which is every day repeated by millions of human beings. As different streams having their sources in different places, all mingle their water in the sea. So, O Lord, the different path which men take to different tendencies, various through they appear, crooked or straight, all lead to thee. Thank you.
7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now, we're engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any other nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we see here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus so far nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here, dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Thank you.
I, Mihika Khadloya, am privileged to be declaiming a short part of her truly inspiring speech. I am a product of opportunity. This speech was given by her on the 8th of December 2010 on Dead Women, Washington, D.C., USA. I quote, I am a product of this visionary mother and father. Many years ago, when I was born in the 50s, well, 50s and 60s didn't belong to girls in India. They belonged to boys who would join business or inherit business from parents, and girls would be dolled up to get married. My family in my city and almost in the country was unique. We were 4 girls and no boys. My father defied his own grandfather, almost to the point of disinheritance, because he decided to educate all 4 of us. He sent us to one of the best schools in the city and gave us the best education possible. And my father used to say at that time, I am going to spread all my 4 daughters in 4 corners of the world. Well, I'm the only one who's in India. One's a British, another's an American, and third's a Canadian. So, we are 4 Indian girls in 4 corners of the world. I am currently into movements. Movements of education of the underserved children and the anti-corruption movement in India. That's the movement and ambition of my life. Thank you.
Good morning, one and all present here. My name is Tanishka Mehta, and today I will be delivering a speech by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who was an independence activist and the first Prime Minister of India. This speech was delivered on 15th August 1947. I quote, "Long years ago, we made a tryst with destiny, and now the time comes when we shall redeem our pledge, not wholly or in full measure, but very substantially. At the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom. A moment comes, which comes but rarely in history, when the soul of a nation long suppressed finds utterance. When we step out from the old to the new, and when an age ends. It is fitting that at this solemn moment we take the pledge of dedication to the service of India and her people and to the still larger cause of humanity. Freedom and power bring responsibility. The responsibility rests upon this assembly, a sovereign body representing the sovereign people of India. Before the birth of freedom, we have endured all the pains of labor, and those pains continue to have a heavy memory of sorrow in our heart. Some of those pains continue even now. Nevertheless, the past is over and it is the future that beckons us now. And so we have to labor and to work hard to give reality to our dreams. Those dreams are for India, but they are also for the world, for all the nations and its people are too closely knit together for any one of them to imagine that they can live apart. Peace is said to be indivisible. So is freedom, so is prosperity now, and also is a disaster in one world that can no longer be split into isolated fragments. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanush.
Martin Luther King Jr. was an American Baptist minister and activist who became the most visible spokesman and leader in the American civil rights movement from 1955 until his assassination in 1968. I Have a Dream was a public speech that was delivered by him during the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom on August 28, 1963, in which he put an end to racism in the United States. 50 years ago, a great American, in whose symbolic shadow we stand today, signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning. My country 'tis a day, sweet land of liberty of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountain side let freedom ring. Thank you.
A person who has never made a mistake in his life. A Jewish German theoretical physicist who has also given the title as the greatest physicist of all time. Sir Albert Einstein had given his first speech in London in English publicly. Soon after Adolf Hitler came into power in Germany, Albert Einstein criticizes his repressive policies in public. He addresses the vast Albert Hall his protest against the Nazi policy. It was an anti-Nazi speech. The speech was, "I am glad that you have me given the opportunity of expressing to you here my deep sense of gratitude as a man, as a good European, and as a Jew. It cannot be my task today to act as a judge of the conduct of a nation which for many years has considered me as your own. We are concerned here not merely with the technical problem of securing and maintaining peace, but also with the important task of education and enlightenment. Without such reason, there would have been no Shakespeare, no Goethe, no Newton, no Faraday, no Pasteur, and no Leisure. There would have been no comfortable houses for the mass of people, no railway, no wireless, no protection against epidemics, no cheap books, no culture, and no enjoyment of art at all. There would have been no machines to relieve the people from the arduous labor needed for the production of essential necessities of life. Most people would live a dull life of slavery just as the ancient peoples of Asia. It is only men who are free and who create the inventions and intellectual works which to us modern makes life worthwhile. He had also left German citizenship in protest against Hitler. Thank you.